Good morning. Welcome to Our Town at Comma Coffee. I'm Kurt Caraway. This morning we're going to be talking with Dave Dawley, who is running for re-election at Carson City Assessor. Right now we're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsor.
Care. It's a word we hear every day. But what does it really mean?
It means loving what you do.
Care is respect, dignity, kindness, and joy.
It means being passionate about what you do.
Care is what we do every day.
It means everything to my patients.
I am healthcare that does care.
I am Carson Tahoe.
We're back. I'm talking with Dave Dawley. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for inviting me to the program.
Well, you are running for re-election.
I am.
Carson City Assessor.
Yes.
So just to tell everybody who you are,
okay.
A little bit of your history.
Well, thank you. Actually, there's not a whole lot to my history. I grew up actually in South Lake Tahoe. Spent most of my life there. Moved away in 1985 where I joined the Air Force and was an air traffic controller. That's where the gray hair started. And then actually moved to Carson City where I got my real estate license and started selling real estate. Sold real estate locally for about 4 years, and then I joined the assessor's office in 1993, and I've been there ever since. Okay. And I've been the assessor for the last 7 years now.
Okay.
So not a whole lot of jobs, just a lot of fun ones.
Yeah. So what is it? What are some things that you think you've done as assessor that you think have been good?
Well, I do. What we've done, I mean, the real estate market right now is really intense. I mean, the highs and lows of it, and the budgets. Everybody's having to cut their budgets. I actually have less people now than when I had 17 years ago when I started, and so we've got more stuff that we have to do. We've got the property tax cap that we have to administer now. We're doing annual reappraisals, and so that's one thing that we've been able to do. We've also been able to cut our budget. I gave the city back $80,000 this year to the general fund, and I've also had to cut my budget an additional 5%. So we're doing more stuff now, and I have to say it's we, because it's not just me. It's the whole. It's my whole office. I've got one of the greatest staffs in the city. I mean, we're more of a family than really anything. We get along really well. We bicker sometimes, but we get along really well. But it's the whole office. It's not just my doing. We all have been doing this.
Wow. Well, that's great. And now, I mean, Nevada has a very complicated property tax system.
Yes.
You and I talked about this before, and so it makes your job somewhat difficult.
Absolutely.
Some of this.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the thing with the cap, on the how much it goes up and stuff. I know that's people are always concerned. It's like, why aren't my property taxes going down? Because the property value is going down.
Correct. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions actually, is the fact that the assessor is the one who determines the property tax cap, and that's really not the case. Yeah. The assessor's office determines what the values are, and we have to go by certain dates. We don't create the laws. We just have to administer them. Yeah. The legislature is the one who actually creates the laws. So we're still getting blamed for it, but it's not us doing it.
Well, that doesn't seem very fair.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So, but I mean, the 3% cap, just if you can explain that one more time, it's basically because property taxes are capped at 3% increase each year. That now what's happening is the taxes are catching up with the valuation, right?
Correct. The values of all the properties have gone down, but in 2005 when they were spiking, when they were really peaking, the Nevada legislature put that cap into place. Yeah. And it is a split cap. We don't agree with the split cap, whereas the single family owner occupieds get 3%, everybody else gets 8%. We don't agree with it, but we've got to administer it. And so values are falling, but they haven't gotten down to where they need to be yet.
They haven't caught up to the cap.
Correct.
So. All right, we're going to take a short break right now and come right back after a word from our sponsor.
Great.
The Carson Mall has exciting shopping. All this and more at the Carson Mall.
And we're back talking with Dave Dawley. I mean, the assessor, the property assessment is a very complicated business, and there's been some people talk about that how you handle foreclosures have disagreed with the way foreclosures have been handled.
Correct.
Do you want to explain how that works? Is that?
I do. What happens is First off, all the assessors, there was a Supreme Court decision a couple years ago called Basque versus State of Nevada. And what happened is the Supreme Court said that the assessors weren't handling everything the same in all the different counties. And so the assessors get together and we call each other all the time to try and figure out and make sure that we're doing everything the same. What happens in a foreclosure, and the counties are handling all these the same. The first deed that you get is called a trustee's deed upon sale, and that's when the bank actually takes it back. I've been criticized because I'm not using those as actual sales, and I can give you a couple examples as to why we don't use it. One actually was a townhouse that took place, or a townhouse on Long Street, and it actually just went back to the bank on the 13th of September. The value that the bank placed on it was $100. So, I mean, $100 for a townhouse on Long Street is not a verifiable sale, in my opinion. There was another one that took place on the 2nd of September for $227,000 or $227. I mean, you've got just a huge. That's not a sale.
So where do they get that number at? The bank is just saying that's what they owe, or what's the?
Pretty much, and that's all they're doing. It's called an elimination of debt. And what we've been finding is people are getting these notes from the bank, turning around and they're flipping them, or they're rehabbing the homes, and then they're actually selling them for a much higher price. And so we went back for the last 2 years, and we've got 97 houses that have actually sold. And of those, we were undervalued on all of them but 28. So there were 200 and, I'm sorry, I need to get the exact number, 289 total, and of those we were, except for 28 of them, we were undervalued still, even on the values at the bank.
So what you're appraising them at was under the value that they were selling for.
Correct.
So
correct.
Using a formula. Wow. Okay.
Correct.
So.
And again, we're handling it the same that Churchill County does, that Douglas County does. We try to make a conscious effort to be the same for all the different counties.
Right. So foreclosures can kind of screw up that whole sales data.
Absolutely.
All right. What are some other difficulties running into in this real estate market? I mean, with going up and down and.
Well, pretty much the biggest difficulty that we're having is a time delay. The fact that we can only use sales up until a certain time period. What I try to tell people is, if the market for somehow decides to go up dramatically, the property taxes are still going to be going down because of the delay that we have as far as the dates we can use for our sales. So property values may be going back up, but the taxes are still going to be going down because there's a delay effect in there.
Oh, okay. So.
And it's interesting. I mean, Carson City, what we're finding now, we're having to lower land values almost 50% for next year. And so many people are going to be actually seeing their taxes going down.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll start.
So overall property values in Carson City are still going down a little bit. So,
absolutely.
So the real estate market hasn't kicked back up a little bit. But there's been some more sales, it seems like, right?
There's been a few sales. Okay. So I mean.
Yeah, but nothing like it was.
No, nothing at all like that.
So everybody gets used to that whole, the boom, and then when the bust comes,
exactly,
bad, so.
Exactly. And we've tried to be very conservative. I mean, my boss, Kit Weaver, who was the assessor before me, always instilled in me that the assessor's office needed to be conservative, and that's what I try and instill in my staff.
Okay. So, well, thanks for coming on and talking to us.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to Our Town at Comma Coffee. We will catch you next time.
Never before have two words said so much. I am is what motivates us every day.
I am grateful.
I am is what drives us to treat each patient like family.
I am blessed.
And I am is what you can depend on when you need it most.
I am a survivor.
I heal.
I care.
I am Carson Tahoe.